Can I just have a word? Can I have a word with you? I feel
It
like it only
doesn't work.
Would you let me speak?
Okay, do it. Okay, go.
Welcome to the Nail Polish Sisters. Chef's kiss. Hi.
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 Hello.
Oh, hi, Ma.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nail Polish Sisters.
Get into it, yeah.
Before we tell you, I'm turning into Jamie where I'm singing everything, and I can't sing, so that's a big problem.
Bella's boyfriend just this past week texted me and goes, you know how I know she misses you is because she started singing her words just like you. And I thought, you know, what a beautiful compliment, honestly.
I did do that, and I just do it now.
Well, I missed you too.
Before we get into the episode, though, and we have an exciting one for you today, we're going to tell you guys a little bit about when we've tried flirting and we have failed.
Trying to think back because mommy don't got a lot, but mommy, actually, I probably have a lot more than I think I do, but this is the one that I remember. So I'll go ahead and set the scene for everyone. Sophomore year of high school, see this guy. He's dating his best friend is dating one of my best friends at the time. So we kind of knew each other from that, but we had never been at like a party together. And we sat together from the moment we said hi to each other till the end of the party. They were kicking people out. Like we were just really vibing, really chatting, I really thought we were having a moment. And I still think we had a moment at that night. But I don't know because I had really never kissed anyone by that point. I think maybe one person or something, but I was very like selective about what boys I talked to and stuff like that. I was a picky lady. Or maybe I just like wasn't cute. I don't know.
You were so cute.
But you know what I mean? Like I think I'm still like this today. Is like I don't really go for it unless I know somebody is like wild. Fair. Unless somebody's already kissed me and I didn't have the time to say what.
Stop.
Yeah, like don't do that. I don't like it. Don't like it. So I just remember like leaving that party being like, oh, we really like something was happening. And I don't think he felt the same. I think he literally texted my friend's boyfriend being like, yeah, she's cool. Like, can't wait to have her as a friend or something. And I was like, that blows. Cut to, I always thought we had this weird thing. Cut to last year, I see him at a rave and we're chatting it up. Yeah, I don't think you were there. I think it was like, I don't even know. And I saw him and he was, okay, this man's was flirting with me. I'm sorry. He was giving a green light and I was kind of flirting back with him. And I had maybe once I'm past one drink, there's no telling what I'll say because I have no regrets at the time. And I don't know what I was saying, but I think I was like, oh, like, you look so good or something.
And he was like, 7 years.
It's been 7. You look so good. He was like, back at you. Like, you know, it's being really nice. And then we got to talking. And then in the middle, he was like, yeah, my girlfriend and I are going to go do this weekend. And when I tell you, I stared at him and I just turned around and I walked away. I was like, I want none of this shit. One, because I'm really not big on guys flirting with girls that are not their girlfriend.
Yep.
And also, I just thought I failed. Like, I just felt like a failure. And I was like, oh, I can't get him to leave his girlfriend. Like, what is this shit? I was having very conflicting and shameful feelings about that. And also, like, not like I actually wanted him to leave his girlfriend. I was just like, I want him to validate that, like, I'm still cute. That was just really, ended up being really fucked up story. That wasn't even a fail flirt. That was just like I'm a bad person flirt.
No, he's the bad person, technically speaking. You didn't know he had a girlfriend. You literally got up and walked away the second you found out he had a girlfriend. That actually makes you the good person in this situation.
That's true.
Because you were like, fuck no.
But also, don't you think it would kill a bitch trying to like steal your man's? Like,
would I kill a bitch?
Wouldn't you just kill somebody if they were like flirting with your boyfriend,
100%.
even though?
But also, I think I'm like a little petty and a little... Like, I don't live for drama or anything, but like, I would just like do some shit to just be like, back off without getting in someone's face and being like, back off. Like, if someone's flirting with my boyfriend, I would just walk over and be like, you're coming with me.
You're coming home with me.
You're coming home with me. And I would just take him. I would just drag him off.
I feel like you do some shit where you like came over.
Thanks for taking care of him. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Die bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Or just walk over, just make out with his face.
That's what I was thinking you would do. Or you'd go over to her and like whisper in her ear and be like, you're a loser. You're a silly little loser. What is the thing that we used to say that we would you're irrelevant? Like, what was the
You're irrelevant. Okay. Let me know if you back us up here on this one. But isn't loser like the worst insult? If someone were to call you a loser, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Loser and slut, I think, would be the two that would send me down.
Slut would make me take off my shirt. I'd be so excited. Like, I would just be like so happy that I got deemed a slut because I'm a slut in my personality. I'm just not a slut like
in the bedroom.
Yeah.
That's fair. I feel like maybe I actually probably wouldn't. I don't know. Unless like if it was like one time this guy called me a dumb bitch. And I remember he had his own issues. And I remember looking at this man and being like, I could do damage with my words right now. But I bit my tongue. Did you call him a loser? No, I bit my tongue. 'Cause I could have said some mean things to him.
But I think you're really right about loser being the worst.
But loser's the worst. If someone called me a dumb loser, I'd be like, whoa, you've gone too far. Dumb bitch, fine.
Take a lap.
That's fine. Dumb loser, I would start swinging. Or just
swing.
Pause up. We're ready to fight.
Do you have a flirt fail? Honestly, I could think of one for you.
Which one?
When we went to...
Oh, that was an L on my part. It's fine. But I don't think that was a flirt fail.
What is a flirt fail,
Like a flirt fail would be like actively flirting with someone and then like them not being interested.
I don't think that either of us would even flirt with someone if we didn't think they were interested. If that
I think
makes
we're
sense.
too protected on that, but I'm trying to think.
I just don't ever think I would really put myself in the position to get rejected.
Well, I've definitely
like that.
been in like a position where like I've texted someone and then they're like not into me, but I'm not. Here's the thing I would say about you and I, and a lot of women, I will give us all this level of credit. And I was just watching He's Just Not That Into You. And there are like, that movie, if you want to know what to do, honestly, is kind of fire. Like people should do their dissertation on that movie. I swear to God.
It actually does remind you of all the core things you need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But when I was watching that and I was thinking about like you and I and a lot of people we know, there are definitely people on the scale of like
don't have awareness of
like they don't understand that what they're doing is like probably kind of actually pushing someone away. It's the idea that they're not actually into the person they're talking to. They're into the person they've made them out to be. And then they put all of this pressure on them. And then the other party, whether it be man or woman, starts to freak out because it's like, whoa, this is our first date. Why are you so into me? Like, calm down. But I think for us, it's like when I think of a flirt fail situation, I'm like, maybe I sent a text and like it didn't go over well, but I'm not a kind of person who's ever going to push that. Like I would just leave it. I'm like, okay, 1, you're not into me. I move on. I don't care.
1000%. I think you and I are we're so protective of ourselves that we just jump ship as soon as something isn't flowing really easily. We're like, oh, well, then they're not interested and that's fine. We're just not even going to give it a second thought. Like, I guess that's where all my flirt fails have happened is on text where I maybe misread that somebody was like more into me than they were. But then I think that only happened one time where I texted some guy after a date that I thought we had like a good time on. And I like asked him a question and he responded, but he responded like a day later.
Ugh.
And then I was like, oh, I'm not going to even respond to that. You know what I mean? But I was like, that's fine. When I actually thought back about it, I'll never forget you sent me this TikTok that was like, are you really into him or are you just a stand-up comedian? Like,
yeah, was that date good or were you just doing a one act on it?
And I was like, damn, like,
I think that's very, very true. And I also think we haven't told you what this episode is. This episode is The Art of the Flirt.
The Art of the Flirt.
As you probably read from the title. And I think these stories are fun to have. And I also think another piece of it is if overall, this is the biggest argument Jamie and I get into, I would say. If he wanted to, he would.
Yes.
It took me so long to convince Jamie that this was a truth of any sort of circumstance.
Denial is
your best friend.
River in Egypt.
Denial is a river in Egypt.
I was in such denial about the fact that if he wanted to, he would, because I typically make justifications for every single sort of behavior that comes my way. I think that there is two sides to every single action. And Bella just put it plain and simple. He's probably just not into you. And I could not accept it. I couldn't accept it. And it turns out he wasn't. But I also think the one person that we're referring to about this, I don't.
Okay, I still understand it was a confusing situation and you don't know.
But I got my answer.
But you got your answer. And it further proves my point of he's just not that into you.
He's just not.
But here's the thing, guys. It's not a problem if he's not that into you, which you will learn today. Like, flirting's fun. That's the whole entire overarching goal of this podcast episode, is just to show you like how you can have fun with it and laugh with your friends and laugh to yourself and laugh with the person you're talking to. It's not any deeper than that. Our goal with this episode is not to create more anxiety, but maybe to give you a tip and a trick here and there, and or like a tip to like help you if you're feeling lost in the flirt game. And
lost in the sauce.
If you're lost in the sauce of the flirt game, this is the episode for you. We have brought on the man,
the myth,
the legend, Flirtmaster G-Thousand.
Flirtmaster G motherfucking thousand.
This man gives zero
fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
No
None.
further explanation needed, to be honest.
So please put your hands together, the nail polish sister community.
I love that.
And let's give the Flirtmaster G-Thousand a warm welcome.
That sounds like sexual.
Please rate,
Like,
and subscribe
wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome, Flirtmaster G-Thousand, to
G-Thousand.
the Nail Polish Sisters.
What's up, guys?
Sisters. We're so happy to have you on here. I can't even begin to think of words for my gratitude.
I'm very excited to be here.
All right.
I
so
think we just get
shall we
right
just dive
the fuck
right into
it.
this? Let's just dive right in.
Look
I'm
at
about
us
to
and
dive
say-
in. All right. This is our first question, and a question Jamie and I go back and forth on a lot. How do you know if a guy is into you or if he's just being nice?
I would say persistence. Like, you want to have like guys, if they're into you, they're going to be persistent. They're going to blow past any little blocks you put up, whether it's I can't get dinner tonight, next week, next month. They're going to keep trying. They're going to keep angling. They're going to find a way in no matter what.
That's
So clean.
literally so articulate. If I could drop the mic, I would. We can't even argue that. Because
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Clean cut persistence. That's how you know.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you, I would say, you're on the side of flirty personality. You're a flirt with everyone you meet. I think you're a little flirty here and there. You're fun that way. And we were wondering, how in that situation do you differentiate between like letting a girl know you're into her versus just like having fun and being flirty?
I think the difference between being flirty and going in for the kill would be it would be the sense of not aggression, but just dedication to, I need to, whether it's getting your number, whether it's asking her on a date, you will do whatever it takes that encounter to get her phone number, ask her to dinner, versus being flirty, nice, having a drink at a party or a gathering. But if there's a girl out there that you see at an event or a dinner, whatever it may be, you go full in, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
You dive in head first. You might hit concrete, you might hit the deep end of the pool, but you just throw all variables out the window and you just send it.
I mean, that's a great answer again. But
He's hitting us with such good answers, we don't have responses.
I know, but that's great. That's what we're trying to do, which is get these questions answered. But also, I think it is kind of nice to know on the other side that there is a clarity in, if I want this person, this is how I'm going to go about it, opposed to being like, us sitting over here being like, if he doesn't ask for my number, maybe he's just shy. But if a guy wants to do it, this is, again, the argument that Bella and I get into all the time.
Like high school stuff or college stuff, the whole lure in high school, college is kind of, you keep like football field distance. You're kind of feeling it out over weeks, months. It's kind of this mystery, but as you get older, in your 20s, 30s, 90s, you just if you meet someone that you're into, at least for me, I'll just absolutely send it. And maybe you're going to go down in flames, but you did it versus prolonging it for 6 months.
But it's worth the trying.
For sure.
You know what's really interesting though? Because I guess we're kind of on the cusp of when people start to really do that. But it's actually confusing when somebody's really clear with you and somebody's really assertive. You're like, do they do this to every single girl? Am I special in this case? Or do they just know how to date? That's honestly a question that I just thought of because of that.
That's to be determined through a few dates and if there's chemistry. Not, you have the one night stand, the guy can come at you hard and do all this stuff, but the next day or the follow-up after that, right? If you're not getting the same kind of persistence and not begging, but you're doing everything you can. When can I see you again? Can we go to the dinner here? There's a concert here. You're going Google looking up what's playing in LA next week. And if you're not taking that effort after that first time, then it's toast. But if there's chemistry, that's how I'd gauge it.
Okay, so off of that question, which is something that Bella and I talk about very often, is the idea of that viral theory that was going around about the box theory, which is, you meet somebody and you immediately put them into a box right when you meet them. So like it's either you're in the, right? It's your
hookup box, dating box, or friend box.
So regardless of what they do after that. So say you want to date somebody, you see them, you're like, I want to date this person, or I'm taking them seriously in that regard. If you sleep with them on the first date, it doesn't taint them in any way versus somebody that you want to hook up with, even if you went on a bunch of dates with, but you're just hooking up, they don't get to move into the dating category.
I think in a weird way, you get like a expedited delivery of what the future holds if you hook up the first time, right? Because if you don't, it's kind of this fantasy land, but as nature has it, you're going to hook up and then you're going to see what happens after that, just based off how humans are. So it can go one of two ways. Maybe if you don't hook up the first night, you're going to build something that if you guys hook up and it's not great, you can put that aside and you've already built something prior to that. You know what I mean? Or you hook up the first night and it's awesome and you have nothing else. And you're like, fuck it.
Yeah. That's really fair. Interesting.
Because the way that theory is explained, and it was a woman who came up with the idea of like box theory of like you get put into a box. And I think it is true to a certain degree. Like, do you think that if you're seeing someone and let's say they're in your hookup box, but you have all of a sudden you have like amazing dates and great chemistry, that changes it, right? Like they can then move from being like, oh, that's just a casual hookup to like, I'm going to date them.
For sure. And that goes back to like the chemistry thing. That takes time to like kind of figure out.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair thing because I think with the box theory, it's a good way to look at it so you don't look like you're not looking too hard because it also goes back to the pursuing idea of like if he's not pursuing you, he's probably not that into you.
Right.
Whereas but there's also the chance that you could move from like box A to box B. It's not like set in place.
I think 95% of guys, they want what they can't have, and it's all about the pursuit of getting it. And that other 5% is like the outliers who, you're going to meet that person and it's on, and there's this weird chemistry and you guys are dialed. But I think 95% of it for the general public, it's this pursuit. That's the attraction more than the actual attraction. You're blinded to all the bad stuff. Go for it.
And I don't even know if this counts or I can talk about it in this episode or this is a down the line question, but in terms of the idea of wanting what you can't have, I feel like we hear that all the time. And I believe that to be true. I feel like that's just like an innate thing for humans, which is you want what you can't have. Mm-hmm. But once you get the thing you can't have and that person becomes your girlfriend, what changes? What does that do to your brain? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're basically saying what happens when you get it, right? And you've been pursuing it and she agrees to be exclusive or whatever the label is. How does that dynamic change? I would say, well, it depends, right? So if it's a 95%er who is just going after what he can't have, there's going to be a lot of things that change. There's going to be a ton. The fake I love yous will stop.
Yeah,
there'll be a lot of weird things that stop.
The fake I love yous is amazing.
Yeah, all of a sudden he has it. And then it's like, it's like the flip of the switch of like, would you say that's the level of like, if the 95%er gets what he wants, it then turns into oh, I already have you, so now.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on a basketball court trying to swish a 3, and he finally swished it, and he's walking off the court. You know?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I would say
crack
that.
me up.
You're too funny, Flirtmaster G-Thousand. The Flirtmaster of the G's. Kind of on top of the a guy pursuing a girl question. Do you wish girls, women, whatever you want to call them, females, do something differently? Like, do you wish there was more pursuit on the other side versus you always being the one to pursue? Or do you like being the position of like pursuing? I don't want to say aggression.
No, but like the person who's assertive.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously no, because it's like so brutal when you're just getting the stiff arm. But I think guys, that's like, it gives them fuel, like in their business, the gym, whatever it is. It's like a necessary evil, you know?
A necessary evil. Expand on that.
So you're saying the necessary evil is being the pursuer.
I can't tell you how many guys there are. If you go to an Equinox, a Gold's, 24-hour Lifetime, that are in there just fucking hucking weights around because they think they're going to get this like Baywatch body and get her. You know? Like that's the fuel that makes America burn.
I can't breathe. Hucking weights
You're actually
around.
not wrong though. That's the thing about all of this is you're so not wrong, which I love.
Hucking weights
journey
around
for you.
is so good. But okay, so.
But there's also too much of it where some girls like that is like their drug, which is like whatever their excuse may be. It's kind of like I guarantee you if we hung out on a date, we might have something in common, and we're running fucking circles on the court for the last 7 months for no reason.
Yeah.
While I've been hucking weights.
Yeah. Do you ever? Okay, so with that instance of hucking weights and all of that, do you wish like every once in a while, is it cool if like a girl were to text you first and like kind of take the reins and be like, let's do this tonight?
Yeah, it would be so foreign because it's never happened. It just doesn't happen, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the question of like,
I would be personally, I'd be super stoked. I'd be like that, like, because it's so different.
I think that's the kind of the question, we're getting at.
Because I think it's like for women, it's scary. Like, you don't know the parameters and the way society has set everything. It's like you don't want to come across desperate or too needy or like aggressive. But there is the side of it where like it actually would be nice to receive a text from you versus always being the one to send the text first.
Yeah.
I think it's just, it's historically, it's not usual for that to happen. So there's this like stigma as a woman. If you text a guy first, that, you know what I mean? It implies like they're desperate or whatever it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, from a man's perspective, it doesn't always come off that way, right?
No, I mean, any guy is going to be excited about it. You know, I can guarantee that.
That's a good thing to note because I feel like as women, you're oftentimes scared to do that. So it's nice to know that like, it's actually not like, don't blow up their phone, but it's nice to receive like a, hey, how are you text?
Yeah, you can't pull like the 80 texts in a row late night situation. That's a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
But I feel like that's a bomb from both sides.
For sure.
I guess men get away with it more.
Guys do it a lot.
But also girls are kind of into that. You know what I mean?
I'm not speaking from experience on that one, but guys do it a lot more.
Yeah.
But I also feel like for a woman, that's like, oh, they're texting me when they're drunk.
They're into me.
They want me. You know what I mean? Versus, I don't know, for a guy, it's
like a bigger picture thing where it's like the way men interact with women and the way women interact with men is viewed on a different scale, which I do think is like a societal thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I feel like it's also kind of interesting because I don't think any of us on here and probably in the larger world actually maybe don't agree with any of that, but it's sort of like these are in place things that we just
ingrained.
Operate by.
Well, it's like the guy's supposed to open the door for a girl. The guy is supposed to reach out to the girl. It's just things that that's been normal for decades. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like if a girl reaches out to the guy, that's like her going and opening his car door after dinner. You know what I mean? That's how reverse it is.
Yeah.
A guy I was seeing said to me, I get that everybody's trying to have that facade at the beginning, especially for girls. They're like, I don't want to text first or I don't want to make the plans ever. But like at a certain point, it just sort of gets old. And like maybe once in a while you do want to text being like, hey, how's your day at work? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But it's just hard to know. Like, you have to know so confidently, like, that this is a person who would accept that versus somebody who'd be like, why the fuck is this girl texting me? Like, leave me alone. Like, you just don't really know in the early stages what somebody actually wants from you unless you straight up ask, like, is that something you would want? Which is also kind of a weird question if you're in the early stages.
For sure.
It's definitely like a weird reverse.
Gray area.
I don't.
It is a gray
to
area.
answer your question, I don't think it'd be weird. I just think that we live in a society where that's so foreign to have a girl do that.
Any hoozle, this goes into another segue into a different part of the dating and the flirting world.
Take us there, baby.
I'm gonna take you there
Take me there.
on a jet plane.
Jet plane.
When would you, or as a man, I shall say, when do you think it's time for a woman to give up on someone? So, like, let's say you've been talking to someone for a while and then all of a sudden their behavior changes or they're like distancing themselves. Do you think it should just be like an immediate, like, if someone's behavior changes, is that a time to drop the ball? No longer.
I think it's 2 strikes. You give them 2 strikes.
Two
Not
strikes.
3. Three's too lenient. You give them 2.
All right.
You give them 1 just little episode, and then they're going to come back and say, "I'm so sorry. This is why I was that drunk, or this is why I was this impulsive, whatever." You're going to be nice. Everybody deserves a second chance. They blow it the second time, just absolutely adios.
That's a perfect piece of advice.
I think if we ever get buttons, you know, like sound buttons, absolutely adios must be.
that'll
one
be
of
a
them.
sound button. Just hit that. Goodbye to you.
Absolute.
Absolutely adios to you. let. Okay. So that's a good piece of advice because I feel like, truthfully, women are really good at justifying bad behavior.
Are you adding me?
No, but you just added yourself. Women are
Okay.
really good at justifying bad behavior. And I think that's a perfect way to sum up the fact that some people don't change. Like, that could be a relationship you're going into if you keep giving them all of these strikes. Versus the 2-strike rule, you're out.
Yeah.
Especially if it happens early days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Aga.
Aka.
Have you ever noticed I say okay weird? Because Jamie called me out on it once and
I
it's
keep telling
ruined
her.
my life.
She's never said okay
Bella's
with a
literally
Y.
from New York. She says like 5 words that are like she's from like the Bronx.
Yeah, you do be.
One of them is aga.
Aka. I'm always like,
Aka.
but it's in any scenario. Like, we'll be driving the car. I'm like, oh, do you want to go in the market for a second? She's like, aka. I'm like, how did that?
Yep.
Yep.
Aga.
Yep.
So here's my next question for this one.
What's your next question?
My next question is, if a guy is acting differently or weird, whatever, I think girls are oftentimes scared of pushing someone away or looking desperate or needy. That's always what I feel like the overall thing is when doing the whole entire back and forth flirt thing. But do you think you can call someone out on their shit and be like, hey, you acted like a jackass last night? Or do you think that is like, does that scare people away, or is that kind of like a, oh shit, she just called me out on this? That's kind of dope.
Well, it's probably not dope in the sense that you really messed up and you're at jeopardy of your like 12-year pursuit. But no, I think it shows that the girl isn't like, she's not afraid to lose you, right?
Yeah.
If she was super desperate and had other options and she took this chance on you and you just absolutely just sent it right into the dirt, you're not excited to get like 12 calls in a row not answered.
Yeah.
But I think that's really nice to hear on the other side because, again, I can speak for personally. Like, I'd be so afraid to be like, oh, this guy did something wrong if I didn't know where it was going to go. You know what I mean? I just do like a silent strike opposed to like a call out strike.
Yeah.
But it probably is important to just
call them out.
Yeah. Be upfront about like the things that bother you.
There's just like a Chernobyl level of radiation in the future of your relationship, if that's okay on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're bound for some bad stuff. You need a little yin and yang.
Yeah, you have to have that balance of like, I'm going to call you on your shit, you call me on mine. And it goes back and forth that way rather than just letting someone necessarily walk all over you and being okay
100%.
with the bad behavior.
I guess that is, I mean, even in the flirting stages of things, because you guys are probably most likely going on dates or whatever it is, like it's trying to be authentically yourself, even in the beginning days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is really hard to do because you want to be this like facade of who you are in order to like impress the person you're with.
It kind of it's
Question.
interesting because you want to play this persona, but then you might get comfortable and just be like, I'm going to let my cards out and kind of,
Yeah.
display what?
Yeah.
Say it.
I was going to say, can you tell on a date if a girl is like acting like she's on her best behavior, or are people really good at pretending
for sure.
they're someone they're not?
It can go from an 8 o'clock dinner and you're having one drink and having food, and then you go to the 11 o'clock bar, you have some Fireball or tequila, and then you see there's a whole new human that just arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got sent down from space. And you're like, who is this?
Is that
Who's band?
Is that fun to see, or is that like kind of a bit of a like
It depends. And same for I'm sure it's same for the girl, right? The girl might be thinking, this guy is such a Larry. He's just sitting here like so boring. And then he has 2 shots and he thinks he's like John Travolta.
You?
Me? Yeah.
You're never a Larry.
My go-to
I will
move.
say that.
But I think I can be like a sense of relief. Like, okay, there's personality deep inside of that. Like she's fun, she's cool. But I think everyone you'd have to be pretty nuts to just show up on a date and just be absolutely sending it solo.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. That would probably be a turnoff if someone just showed up and was sending it
way
to that extreme.
Yeah.
Too early on. You have to have like a little bit of a warm up to that.
Yeah, I do think.
Little appetizer.
A little appetizer to the send.
A little appy.
A little salad to the send.
A little salad before the big lava cake eruption. Before the 4 a.m. Domino's rolls in.
Oh my God. Remember when we all got Domino's in Palm Springs and everyone felt so sick?
That was epic. Remember when I was outside?
Oh my God. None of that.
Walking around at 3 a.m.
Pretty sure you weren't found sleeping against your truck at 3 in the morning. On the truck bed, standing vertical.
Just eyes closed. Just standing with your arms across.
Said person happened to walk down the street and I was just standing up like this, sleeping.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, so this is taking it in a different
direction.
A
little direction switch.
But this is one for the gals with personality over looks, aka me. Just saying, no offense to me.
Jamie, you have it all. You're the full 360 Amazon delivery, freaking 2-hour delivery. It's there. There's no tape missing. It's perfect.
Thank you, King. But to that, I will say, just knowing who I am, which is a personality queen, for those gals who feel that their personality is stronger than their looks, and that's okay. If you are out and about, you start talking to this girl, you're like, I don't really know if I find them attractive. You get to talking, and you're like, I love this girl's personality. Does that change it for you? Like, could you actually start being attracted to them based off of solely their personality and not the initial attraction? Or do you think the initial attraction has to be there in the beginning in order for you to appreciate the personality?
I think it depends on the guy. That's how I'd explain it. It fully depends on the guy. If he's a genuine guy who doesn't care about, the looks and just an absolute dud of a personality, for sure. For me personally, you have to have both. You can't have one.
Yeah, that's what I was
other.
gonna say. On the other side of it, which is like, if the looks are super strong and the personality is not there, are you willing to deal with that because of the attraction, or does that sort of fade?
Yeah, you want like a 1971 Ford engine. You want a car that the personality is the engine and it's going to last a long time, because the looks, that thing's going to get rust. It's going to not look so great in 40 years. That the personality is the engine that'll keep it going.
And I also think something important to add to that is like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So to one person, the hottest girl might be the hottest girl to them, but to someone else, that's not their type. So it doesn't necessarily.
If you're just searching for that eye candy trophy, that fades, right? It's just a thing.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be leapfrogging. Like if that's all it is.
Yeah.
You might as well
He'll be leapfrogging.
Term.
You might as well just put in your calendar in 10 years, I'm gonna be single as a girl. I need to go, That's so
yeah. But that's great. That's really great to know. You know?
And I think it's it's important to remember that like personalities are important because you can be beautiful, but if your heart's not beautiful, if you don't have a
Are you
beautiful
getting
heart,
emotional, Bella?
no, but if you don't have a beautiful heart, I just start sobbing. If you don't have a beautiful heart, then you're fucked in the future.
You fucked.
You got to be a good person on top of it.
Which is truly the greatest gift and lesson Bella has ever taught me in my life. Just because somebody's not into you doesn't mean you're not it. You know what I mean? Like you're just not it to them, and that's fine.
No, and
Yeah, you will be
the
it to
funniest
another
thing
person.
with dating and or just heartbreaks in general is you think that person, you'll never attain that. Whatever you guys had, you're gonna dwell on. I'll never have that again. That weird chemistry, those whatever those moments were. But you'd be surprised. I mean, there's so many people out there. The problem is you're limited usually to your radius of people.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to go on a weekly basis to meet 30 new people. It's just, it doesn't happen. But I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest issue is I think people get so hung up on, oh my gosh, we had this thing. I'm never gonna get that back. And there's infinite amounts of whatever you had that's better.
Yeah.
That's actually beautiful.
That is a good piece of advice to remember because it is so hard to be like, I'm never going to find someone like the last person I was seeing,
Yeah.
When realistically,
that.
there's actually probably someone out there that's better for you and you just don't know it yet. So sometimes it's a little blessing in disguise if it doesn't work out with that person because there
For
might
sure.
be a new person around the
True
corner.
That times
And
a
if
million
it was
and a
meant to
billion.
be, it wouldn't have ended.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean,
that's very true.
That's the real truth to that.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a question coming from your lovely friend, Isabella Rose Gianulli.
Yes.
You suck at being on your phone. Like you are one of the
Yes.
worst
This is true.
phone people I've ever met in my entire life.
I
Getting
didn't
into
know.
contact with you.
Dear mom, I hope you listen to this episode.
Getting into contact with you is like trying to contact someone in the CIA. It's borderline impossible.
I've only been in one group chat with G ever, and I've never heard from him in that group chat. He's never contributed to the group chat.
So, with you being a little sucky McSuckster on the phone, do when you're talking to a girl
Do
you're
when.
into.
Do when you're talking
Do
to.
when it
Do when.
happens.
We're doing
Do when. Do when you talk to
when.
the girl you are liking. When you speak to someone you like, do you change your ways of being shitty on the phone or are you still shitty on the phone? Does that not switch anything?
It does. It
It
does.
does.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's big because I
Yeah.
feel like oftentimes women are so good at justifying he doesn't respond for an hour. He's busy. Like, is he busy or is he just not that into you?
Yeah, it's just a full priority thing. It really
Yeah.
is. And when you're single and you meet someone that somehow, which is disgusting, but it goes to number one slot in the priority list.
I think that's a good thing for our listeners to
Well,
hear.
your group chats with your friends, your family, whatever it is, as horrible as it is to say, they're like, that's not going anywhere, right? It's going to be there in 3 hours.
Mhm.
If you're playing games, that might be the end of it.
So no games.
No games.
I'm with that. I don't think
I
games
think
are
games
fun.
are just it just breeds toxicity out the beginning.
Yeah. And I think then that is a good thing to stand at. Like if you go into something, no games, full dive into the deep end of the concrete as you might,
Yes.
As one might.
as one might. But that is a good thing to know on the other side of it, that if someone is taking 3 hours to respond to you, you're not their top priority. And that's not like a bad
Well,
thing.
I think it's so circumstantial in that case.
I think it is circumstantial with the person, but if every time they're lagging on the response, just know that it might not be going in the direction you think it is just because they're responding. It
Well,
might not be.
you guys are both children at that point,
Yeah,
There's no need to do that.
I agree.
In my
I
opinion,
completely
I
agree.
think that's just a non-starter.
A
A
non-starter.
non-starter. That's a non-starter. Okay, G-Master, one final question for you. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Hit it.
Why do you hit it? Why do you think guys ghost rather than just being honest and saying, hey, this isn't working out anymore?
I think a lot of guys that do that just don't have the cojones to say, I'm not, it's not going to go forward from there. I think that's the real reason for the ghost. There's
Okay.
no other reason, because if that wasn't
Yeah.
the case, they would
They'd
say,
continue to speak.
we're not compatible, whatever it may be. But
Mhm.
I think some guys just cannot, grab the cojones to do that.
Do you think guys ever do that because they want to keep you on the back burner or no?
No, I don't
No.
think so, because if they wanted the back burner, they would just keep hitting you with little small talk and just keep it live.
The little breadcrumbs. We love a little breadcrumb.
If they let the coal just burn out,
Yeah.
there's nothing to relight. It's over.
That's
fire.
fair. All right.
Fair and fire.
All right, Flirtmaster G-Thousand. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you guys. This
saving
was so
our
fun.
lives. This was great.
So much
we should
fun.
do this. We should
You're
do this
welcome
weekly.
back anytime.
100%.
You're coming back. You're coming home with
me.
You're coming home with me. You're welcome back at any time. And before we wrap this shit up, we have one dire question for
Let's
you.
hear it.
What was the last thing you purchased on Amazon?
Me.
Something keto. I just don't remember what it was. It was some keto snack.
Are you keto now?
No, I'm not actually. But I just know it was a keto snack.
Okay.
All right.
Love to hear
Let's
that.
go.
Thank you, Flirt.
Thank you, Flirty G-Master. We love you.
You guys are the best. This was so fun. I hope to do this again.
You
we
will.
hope to
Don't
have you
worry.
on so many
good.
more times.
Good.
With all of your little phrases. All right.
Awesome.
I love you, G.
Love you guys. So much fun. See ya.
We are back again with our favorite segment of the week of the pod, which is where our producer sends us something that me and Jamie both have to read separately, and we are not allowed to talk about it until we are sitting in these two white fluffy chairs right now.
Which is very hard for us to do because we talk about everything.
So,
okay, here we go. Surprise, motherfucker.
This week, she sent us an article that was in Glamour about how the people at Trader Joe's are not trained to flirt with you.
By the way,
contrary to popular belief.
The fact that that is a contrary belief, and I had that thought on my own literally 2 weeks ago when I was in Nashville, and I went into the Trader Joe's. I was feeling really unsexy, and I got to the front, and the guy was so nice to me and commented on every single thing that I picked out at Trader Joe's. And I didn't even look at him while he was talking to me because I was so mesmerized by the fact that he was commenting on anything. I thought he was in love with me. I genuinely walked out of there and I was like, I think someone fell in love with me today. So
that brings me to my question of like, are we all just so sheltered and sad, and is the bar so low that if someone's just nice to you, you think they're flirting with you?
I have to say yes.
Because I don't think I would walk into a Trader Joe's and someone's like, wow, yeah, I love the cauliflower gnocchi.
It's the way they say it, though. Like, have you been into a Trader Joe's recently? I swear to God,
while.
There is something in the way that they speak to you. They're speaking into your soul. Like, by the way, when someone's being nice to me, I'm like, oh, great, you're being nice to me because I'm being nice to you. They're taking it upon themselves to, like, personalize things to your interests. Like, they should be analyzers for, like, algorithms on social media or something. I swear, like they just know what to say to you. And I left there feeling like a sexy ass biche.
Well, that's good. Then they should keep that up. But like, it's just kind of alarming at the same time that people, this is a universal thing that it's like the guy checking you out at the grocery store. You're like, yeah, he was into me.
Right.
Like every person thinks that. That's kind of nuts.
It is kind of nuts.
Because they're commenting on something like personal that you picked out. Like there's nothing deeper than the fact that they're ringing you up and it's a conversation and they're just being nice.
Yeah. So to the listeners, as you can tell, there's a rational person speaking. And then is it irrational or unrational person speaking? Me, Jamie, being the unrational. Bella being the what? You just said unrational.
No, I said irrational. You're like, it's unrational.
It's unrational. Yeah. So I guess, I mean, that just proves the dynamic between the two of us even further, as Bella is way more logical in that sense. And
I can just look at it from just a normal playing field of he's probably, because also then like if he was flirting with you, by the time you've checked out and he's bagged your shit, he'd be like, okay, can I get your number? Right.
But like, yeah. But there is something about Trader Joe's I'm going to even argue further because like I've been to a few markets in my days. And people do talk to me at the markets and like the people that are ringing me up do speak to me. But it's something about, it might be their energy.
But Trader Joe's also, like if you look across the board, they hire young, hot people.
But I'm telling you, I didn't even look at the person who was speaking. It's something about their energy. Like energetically speaking, there's just like, I'm not the only crazy person thinking this. Clearly, there's a lot of people thinking this.
This is a big ass theory that's happening. But to me, it doesn't make that much sense because, and I think it's because Trader Joe's does hire good looking young people. So then people just assume like, oh yeah, like that guy's hot. He's flirting with me.
Right. I guess in the article too, it said that, you know, when asked about it, that they do look for people that are just
Nice.
Yeah. But that can't be it for, you know what I mean? People like to have I think not me speaking personally, I only thought about the Trader Joe's experience because of the article. But like, I think for people, because we've been in, you know, a pandemic and because like there has been so little time for human connection, I think the fantasy or like the excitement of a moment like that is exciting for people nowadays. And so that goes to your point of like, the bar is pretty low.
Yeah, I just
It's
feel like
clearly
the bar
pretty
is low if you think the guy who's ringing you up at Trader Joe's is flirting with you when he's just commenting on what you've bought.
Yeah.
It's like a pretty low bar. If you were to walk up and he'd be like, "Hey, gorgeous, how are you doing today?" Then I'd be like, "Yeah, the dude at Trader Joe's is probably flirting with you." But if he's like, "Oh, love these hot Cheeto knockoff chip lime, whatever those things are," like there's a huge difference between a conversation that's just nice and normal and like kind of talking about something. Like, what else are you guys going to talk about?
Fair. I got it. You know what? 0.1 Bella, 0.0 Jamie on this one.
Yes.
That was a really fun surprise motherfucker, though.
That was a good one.
I really
I
like that
one.
article. If you can give it a read, please do. And
We'll
let
post
us
it
know
somewhere.
your opinions, because I hope somebody sides with me on this one, please.
So many people will. I
hope they
guarantee it, because
do.
the article was so many people believe that the Trader Joe's people are flirting with them. I just think it's kind of nuts.
All right. Well, to that point, we're going to do our hot takes of the week. Our favorite thing to do is our hot takes. What you got?
I got one for you. I think it's really hot when guys use the word lady.
Okay.
Like, hey, lady, so hot. How are you today, lady? Like, daddy.
Say less. Hot take. Hot take. Younger boys are out, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
By the way, I've never had that experience. It just came to me right now.
Yesterday?
No, never. Just in general, like younger boys are just out. Period.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
That's my hot take of the week. That's
Okay.
your hot take of the week. We shall leave it there. We will see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Adios.
Mwah, mwah.
Mwah. Please rate, like, and subscribe
On Apple
and Spotify.
or wherever you get your podcasts. The Nail Polish Sisters is hosted and produced by Jamie Belushi and Bella Giannulli.
Produced by Lauren Boone.
Edited by Jordan Fair.
Original music by Joey Cars.
The Nail Polish Sisters is a Gulfstream Studios production. And if you've made it this far, 100 points.